Mary, would you come forward to light the chalice?
There are UU congregations and groups in nearly 30 countries around the world. Some very small, some are quite large. We light this chalice with gratitude for the dual impulses, the global hunger for freedom and community. We light this chalice with thanks for Unitarian Universalism, whose tent is large enough to honor such different expressions of freedom and community.
I was so moved by Mark playing bridge over troubled water with such passion in this time where so many people are being pushed to the wayside and shamed for their identities and rejected from mainline community. So many are being expelled, what's that word? Expelled, thank you, from mainstream community. And we stand in stark contrast to that impulse. We are standing and sitting and walking and rolling in stark contrast, which means that it is essential that we come together. And so I welcome you this morning. We welcome all of you from all the different congregations in the area and say thank you for being who you are and being present. Jeff has some announcements, I believe.
I do. Good morning. I'm Jeff Chard. I'm from here. Want to let you know how lunch is going to work after the service. We're going to have lunch. The food is across the hall. And line up, go through the line. That'll start about 5 minutes after the service, because right after the service we will be clearing the chairs from the wood floor part and setting up tables. If anybody wants to help us set up tables, then it might only be 4 minutes. So we're going to go through the line and sit at the table, eat food. Everybody got that? That's the lunch. Please stay for the lunch. Speaking of lunch, our last Tuesday lunch is at 1 p.m. At some wonderful area restaurant. That's a thing we do. If anybody wants to join, there's always info in our newsletter, or you can ask me or anybody else. Everybody know Jack Pendrack? There's Jack. Say hi, Jack. Jack has two great things that happen on the first and third weeks of the month. One of them, Ions, is coming up this Saturday at 10 a.m. That's noetic science, pretty far out stuff. Represented, other congregations who are in this room are represented in that because it's also on Zoom. If anybody wants to know about noetic, he's been doing it for years too, and it's really interesting. Noetic sciences. A Course in Miracles is also the first and third Thursdays at 7 p.m. And anyone who's here is welcome to either come to those or Zoom in. There's a Sage lunch at 2 p.m. Sage is a fellowship group for older LGBTQ folks, and I'm sure younger ones would be welcome to attend at 2 p.m. here. And Jerry, where's Jerry? Is going to come and talk about the bison.
Not bison or buffalo. Oh. By the way, I'm Jerry Reed. I'm on the communications team here at the church. This group here today represents three of the oldest congregations still operating in the state of New York. Barneville, number 1, Salisbury, number 2, and we're the baby. But we celebrate 200 years this year, and we're forming a task force to see how we can celebrate and what we can do to celebrate it. And we're having a meeting on Zoom on February 4th. That's a Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock. The Zoom link is in your newsletter. It's also on the church calendar. Anyone is welcome and encouraged to be part of our group, because we'd like to have as many people organizing this event as possible. So 200 years this year. It's November 21st, by the way, which is the actual date. Thank you.
Opening words about global Unitarian Universalism. It varies dramatically from country to country, even more so than it varies from congregation to congregation in the U.S. While global UU groups share a great deal in common, we each have unique qualities. These qualities make our global faith diverse and beautiful, though they can also be surprising to a visitor. A visitor from the United States might be surprised, for example, that a Unitarian church in Transylvania doesn't include a chalice lighting during their service, or that a Unitarian church in the UK uses a hymnal during worship that would be unfamiliar to us here in the US, or that services in other places are in languages other than English. How about that? Yeah, I should say that the combined choir is going to sing Build Me a World.
Build me a world where there's hope for children to grow with no poverty, no hatred or war. Build me a world where there's room to move in with wide open scenery and clear skies above. Oh, climb the mountains and look out over the sea. Oh, build the bridges, connecting people to me. Build me a world where there's no more sickness. We share all the promises, the rich and the poor. I'll build this world if you stand beside me. Give me hope, give me faith, give me love. Oh, climb the mountains and look out over the sea. Oh, build the bridges, connecting people to me. Build me a world where there's no more sickness. We share all the promises, the rich and the poor. I'll build a world if you stand beside me. Give me hope, give me faith, give me love.
Just for those of you who don't know, the reason I'm sitting down is because I have a healing heart, and some of my habits create difficulty for me, and standing is one of them because I have a very bad habit of leaning forward. So I am practicing good well-being here, and thank you. So this Together time has something in it that is for everybody, but especially for the people who are at the tables, because it's an opportunity to pick up a piece of paper and color something. And what I'm suggesting is that you think about if you were to put a symbol on the ceiling of our church that helps other people know what we're about, what would that be? Now, Jeff mentioned Transylvania, way far away from us. And in Transylvania, 450 years ago, there was a Unitarian church that decided to put on the inside of its wooden ceiling a picture of the solar system that had the sun in the center and the planets rotating around it. Now you would think, what's the big deal? Back then, the government and the connected religion were preaching that it was the universe that was rotating around Earth. Because of course, God created Earth as the most important place and everything else was, evolving around that. We were central. So a person like Copernicus, who figured out that the Earth is not at the center, could get in a tremendous amount of difficulty or end up in jail or worse for speaking out that scientific truth. So it was quite radical for our Unitarian ancestors to place the accurate solar system 450 years ago on their ceiling. They still exist, and they're part of what's a larger educational space in Hungary and in Transylvania 450 years later. So think about what symbol would you put on your ceiling so that people 400 years ago might know what is central to you. For the Hungarians, I think part of that was truth. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit. Oh, I did almost forget that there is something we tend to do here in this church, when some of us remember, that the children know this well, but one way of talking about who we are is to use our hands. And I'll show this to you, and then you can do it with me the second time. We are the church of the open mind. We are the church of a loving heart and giving hands. We take care of the planet and each other. So join me if you would. We are the church of the open mind. We are the church of the loving heart and the giving hands. We take care of the earth and each other. Thank you. One of my favorite readings is by the Reverend Mark Morrison Reed, a Canadian Unitarian Universalist minister. He authored the book Black Pioneers in a white denomination. He himself is a Black man. His work helped our tradition 20 years ago see the complex truth of our past, our roots, where we came from, and its current expression of exclusiveness. His work has helped our faith collaborate across differences rather than being welcoming and controlling, but to truly collaborate across differences. I can tell my tongue twisters today are going to make things interesting. And so he wrote this: the central task of the religious community is to unveil the bonds that bind each to all. This is a connectedness, our relationship discovered among the particularities of our own lives and the lives of others. Once felt, it inspires us to act for justice. He continues, the religious community is essential, for alone our vision is too narrow to see what must be seen, and our strength too limited to do all that must be done. Together, our vision widens and our strength is renewed. Mark Morrison Reed. And that reading is in the back of your hymnal, by the way. So through my years of serving at the national level of the Unitarian Universalist Association, I had the opportunity to get to know many different congregational leaders and visit different congregations around the country. I've always thought of myself as an open-minded and welcoming person, welcoming of diversity and experience, thought and cultures and expressions of religious and moral impulses. I was welcoming. And as I visited different congregations and regions of the country, I found myself challenged more than a few times. I noticed myself getting tense and had to check my reactivity and work to open myself to understanding, to hearing and understanding what people were saying and doing and what their experiences were. And these sometimes made me uncomfortable. And they were fellow Unitarian Universalists. We like to say we all think alike. We don't. In one church in Las Cruces, New Mexico, there was a rocket ship depicted in the stained glass window, which I found unnerving because my sense of the holy, the sacred, comes from the nature and the earth. And a rocket ship, I just had a difficult time taking it in, but I learned. In a beautiful old Boston congregation, I felt really uncomfortable because the pulpit was hanging overhead on what would be a second floor here. And people dressed formally to come hear the preacher who was way up there. And yet another church was uncomfortable to me because it felt more like a seminar of intellectual sharing, where words like spirituality and God were simply not welcome. So please hear me say that it has been growthful and deepening, good for my well-being, to be open to understanding and honoring those real differences. And it has not always been comfortable or easy. We're encouraged to grow in our faith, especially across our differences. And Carol Gable has a few stories of congregations that she has known and loved that she's agreed to share.
Hello, thank you. Many of you, Utica, know I lived in Canton, New York for about 20 years. It's in northern St. Lawrence County before moving here to the Mohawk Valley in 2018. While living up there, I was a member of the UU Church of Canton and usually went to church there on Sunday mornings, but frequently spent the weekend in Ottawa because it was only an hour away and had so many cultural opportunities. So several Sunday mornings in Ottawa, I attended the first Unitarian congregation of Ottawa. I learned about the congregation through UU youth conferences because I was an advisor and a chaperone for the Canton UU youth group. And the Ottawa UU youth group used to come to a lot of the New York conferences, and they attended Adirondack, where my sons went every summer. And the Ottawa youth group hosted OWL weekends and youth gatherings, and a lot of New York youth went up there. So the first Unitarian church in Ottawa became kind of a second home. It sits on the Ottawa River and has many large windows where when you're watching the pulpit, you can see the trees blowing in the wind and the river going by. The congregation has built senior housing next to the church and also operates a child care center and a food bank and sponsors refugees. It sounds kind of like a UU dream, doesn't it? I really cherished my times there, which helped me more fully understand how our liberal religious values extend well beyond borders. And to tell the truth, I appreciated the sympathy and the kindness that the Canadian UUs offered me, when our country first elected a president who was so strongly committed to demonstrating hatred for so many in the world and contempt for science, women's rights, and more. My UU friends in Ottawa let me know that they were as sad as I was about the situation. More recently, my sons and I traveled to Dublin about 2 years ago, and I looked up to see if there was a UU church in the city to attend, and there was. The Dublin Unitarian Church was right off of Stephen's Green, which is a lovely downtown park. It's right. I strolled across the park, went to their service. The church is 150 years old and traditional, with beautiful stained glass windows and steeples. Unitarianism in Ireland split from Presbyterianism, or the Protestant dissenters. I know we have Presbyterians in our church. In the middle of the 19th century, the congregation is currently connected with both Unitarians and Presbyterians via membership in the non-subscribing Presbyterian Church of Ireland. I was there in the month of April, and the service was focused on spring and poetry, and listening to members of all ages share their poems was a true delight. I noticed many American accents and came to learn that many Americans living in Ireland attend that church. Yet again, I felt comforted in seeing how our liberal religious values, commitment to love, inclusiveness, and justice carries across borders and among many, many people in the world. And I remembered how these values and actions have carried people through other times of darkness and oppression. While those are the only international UU churches I have attended, I do visit many UU churches throughout the U.S. in my travels because attending UU services almost always lifts my spirits, and I love to sing hymns on Sunday, so thank you. I find it so interesting to see how some UU churches are so modern in construction, some are so historically preserved. One of the more interesting constructed UU churches I got to visit was the First Unitarian Society in Madison, Wisconsin, because their building is designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, who was a longtime member of that congregation. The congregation committed to sustainability years ago, and their building is now carbon neutral, and the roof is covered in plants and dirt, which captures rainwater. I also find the different forms of music to be fascinating. For example, I go to New York City a lot. In the downtown Manhattan, Unitarian Church of All Souls is all classical music by amazing musicians. And then the Brooklyn UU Church is all jazz and modern classical show tunes, which are wonderful. Of course, every minister and sermon has a different tone and message, but almost always leaves me thinking about how I want to live in this world and how I want to love. And these are things we're thinking about wherever we live, wherever we go. Thanks.
If you feel at a loss of what to talk about in the midst, like introverts like me, it sometimes helps to have something to chat about. Talk about whether you've been to another Unitarian Universalist congregation and where and what it was like. These things that Carol talked about were very wonderful. And the quote that I really want to lift is that visiting different churches helps her think about how she wants to live in this world and how she wants to love. Having more input about these things stretches and grows who she is becoming and stretches and grows all of us as a faith community. The Unitarian Universalist Association, of which we are members, is itself a member of the International Council of Unitarians and Universalists. The principles and purposes of this organization were written in 1995, so we all keep evolving over time. The preamble to this reads, "We are the member groups of the International Council of Unitarians and Universalists, affirming our belief in religious community based on liberty of conscience and individual thought in matters of faith, the inherent worth and dignity of every person, justice and compassion in human relations, responsible stewardship in relation to humans and human relationships, and our commitment to the democratic principles." The purposes they declare: to serve the infinite spirit of life and the human community by strengthening the worldwide Unitarian and Universalist faith, to affirm the variety and richness of our living traditions, to facilitate mutual support among our member organizations, to promote our ideals and principles around the world, to provide models of liberal religious response to the human condition, which upholds our common values. I read this list every once in a while, and because I'm a member very deeply involved in one particular church, it really kind of rocks my sense of who Unitarian Universalists are to know that there are Unitarian Universalist congregations in New Zealand and Australia, in Brazil, in Burundi, in Canada, of course, in the Czech Republic, in Denmark and Finland, Germany, Hungary, India, the Netherlands, Nigeria, Norway, the Philippines, Romania, South Africa, Spain, and the United Kingdom. And then I found these words on the UUA website in this section called International Faith. I was inspired by them and hope they're helpful to you too. From the Hungarian villages of Eastern Europe to the bustling urban centers in East Africa, from the Khasi Hills of Northeast India to the Negros Islands of the Philippines, Unitarianism and Universalism have developed expressions around the world. Unitarian, Universalist, and Unitarian Universalist worshiping communities around the world exist because people in these places had a strong belief in our faith's foundations, the oneness of the sacred and God's all-embracing love. We come together, it continues, across cultures in all our diverse expressions to celebrate our shared commitment to a more just, more peaceful, and more loving world. And we ask here, why does it matter that Unitarian, Universalist, and Unitarian Universalist organizations connect around the globe? We in the United States, for one, learn deeply the nuances of faith from vastly different cultures. And in many ways, that has to keep us humble. It stops us from feeling as if we have it all figured out and that we know the best way to think about the truths of life and that we somehow are experts of being in community. Being together across wide and different experiences encourages us to become more humble, to open ourselves, and renew our determination to grow into who we hope we can become. In Mark's words, the religious community is essential, for alone our vision is too narrow to see all that must be seen, and our strength too limited to do all that must be done. So together, our vision widens and our strength is renewed. And why does it matter that our 4 congregations remain connected and share over decades and centuries of change? We gather to learn that none of us knows the final truth. None of us as individuals or as a community have this all figured out. We step closer across differences because we care about growing our understanding and our practices. We come closer to know more about each other's minds. And so I'll invite you to join a song that is sung very often in our faith community. Come sing a song with me. And the words are in your order of service and in the hymn book on 346.
Come
I invite you to join me in a time of prayerful meditation as we reflect upon the memory of those who have gone before us. In the struggles we choose for ourselves, in the ways we move forward in our lives and bring our world forward with us, it is right to remember the names of those who gave us strength in this choice of living. It is right to name the power of hard lives well lived. We share a history with those lives. We belong to the same motion. They too were strengthened by what had gone before. They too were drawn on by the vision of what might come to be. Those who lived before us, who struggled for justice and suffered injustice before us, have not melted into the dust and have not disappeared. They are with us still. The lives they lived hold us steady. Their words remind us and call us back to ourselves. Their courage and love evoke our own. We, the living, carry them with us. We are their voices, their hands, and their hearts. We take them with us, and with them, choose the deeper path of living. And let us now give and receive the morning offering to support the work, the wonder, and the witness of this community.
With a world so
Please.
The blessing of truth be upon us, the power of love direct us and sustain us, and may the peace of this community preserve our going out and our coming in, from this time forth until we meet again.
Would you join one another in reading the words for extinguishing our chalice, which are on the order of service, as I snuff the candles? We extinguish.
I'm a small part of the world. I have a small hand which to hold. But if I stand by your side and you put your hand in mine, together we can be so strong and bold. I'm a small part of the world. I have a small dream in my eyes, and if you add yours to mine, together we can reach up to the skies. Hand in hand, dreams combine, voice with voice, together for all time. Hand in hand, dreams combine, voice with voice, for all time. I am a small part of the world. I have a small voice to hear. But if I sing out for freedom, and you add your voice to mine, together we have nothing left to fear. Hand in hand, dreams combine, voice with voice, together for all time. Hand in hand, dreams combine, voice with voice, for all time. Hand, dreams combine, voice with voice, for all time. Hand in hand, dreams combine, voice with voice, for all time. I am a small part of the world. Take my hand.
Yes.